So this is going to be a pretty short meeting. I have to go teach 2 exercise classes after this. I'm going to be really tired. And then we don't have school tomorrow, which is exciting, right? Finally a day to rest. So I'm going to share my screen and show you what I wanted to talk about today. First of all, looking at the calendar, right now we're having our meeting. And then next Friday, we're having a lab for all grades. That will be at 9:30 to 11:30. And I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about what we're going to do for that. And then the other stuff I had planned isn't going to be as fun with one person, but we'll do it anyways. So I'll participate too. We are going to be using this thing called Poll Everywhere, where you get to like respond and we make little pictures and graphs from it. And then we're going to review key vocabulary from Module 2, just making sure we know what it is, we have the right definitions. And then we're going to start going into this design scenario, thinking about designing our own solar water heaters, which is going to relate to what we do next Friday. So Poll Everywhere is this cool thing where it says, what do you know about science so far? And you can either respond from your computer by going to this link, pollev.com/myname438, or you can text to join via text, and then you can text answers here. So actually, I'm going to try the texting one. So this is just a vague question, like what is science so far? You could put vocabulary, you could put activities. Hey, Aubrey, welcome. Nope, I can't hear you, but I see you. All right, so what we're doing, Aubrey, is we're either going to this website, pollev.com/myname438, or texting that, the number to Jamie Dinsmore 438, so you can join this poll. And then we're going to send words that we know about science so far, and we're going to make a web. So I'm going to do the text. Dinsmore 438 37. Oh, whoops, I did it backwards. I texted to my name and the phone's like, that's not a name. Okay. 376. Jamie Dinsmore. Okay. So now I joined. I don't know if you guys can see, it's like super glary, but it tells me a bunch of details. It says, we've noticed it's your first time participating. All right. Oh, it's not my whole name. It's Jamie Dinsmoo. You guys see this? There's not an R. Oh. Okay, let's get this right. Okay, so if you guys go to the website, you can type in words. So I'm going to put in a word. So I'm texting words right now, and they're appearing here. So if you guys go to the website or you do the texting, add some words. Let's make a whole web. So try to add 5 words that you think of when you think of science.
Wait, then how do you add the words?
When you go to the website one?
Well, like the computer one.
Let's see. I did it through texting, so let me try the other one. Poll polev.com/Jamie. Oops. So if you go to the website, it should look like this. And then you can enter a response. And it shows you what you entered. But then on my screen, that's when, oops, go away thing so I can, on my screen, it shows up. So try to see if you can send a couple words, because I want us to use this so we can like be more interactive. There's other ones too, we'll see. There's like little quizzes and stuff. But this one's like a fun, like, what do we know about science? Or how do we feel about science? Can you guys do this? Yes or no? What's going on? Aubrey says no. You want me to unmute you? Aubrey? Okay. Oops. I also accidentally deleted your video. Sorry about that. All right, you guys should both be unmuted.
It just says Poly at, like where I'm at, and then it says contact@poly.com.
So you should be able, you know what? Let me see if I can send you guys the link in the chat. Maybe that will help. So if you go to polev.com/Jamie Dinsmore. All right, see if that works. If you click on the link in the chat. What about you, Abby? How's it going for you? Did you get to the website?
Well, I got to the website, but it says you have to it says like when you first enter, it says create your first poll.
Oh, is it asking you to create an account maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Create an account with your MIWA email, which is weird because it shouldn't if you just go to the poll link. Did you try the link from the chat?
Yeah, but it just says.
Oh, look, Aubrey got one in there. And a hi. Okay.
I was making sure that this was the right one.
That's the right one. I see it. Awesome. Okay. So did you have to create an account, Aubrey?
No.
No. Okay. So
It
try
just says, what do you know about science so far? And then it had
a box.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Abby, try to click on this link in the chat that I sent and see if.
Okay, now it's working. Sorry.
Now it's working? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you go to this website up here, it won't work, right? Because I had to create an account. But then if you go to this link here, polev.com/my name, it works. Okay, cool. Right, so now that we're on it, send 3 words. Are you hungry? Okay. While you guys are sending your 3 words, I'm gonna feed my dog really quick.
Okay.
That's why he's acting so crazy, because he's hungry. Ooh, scientific, unique, interesting. Oh, I love this. Yay.
We should have done this a long time ago. This is fun.
I know. Actually, I think we're going to start every virtual session with one of these with like a different question. Because it looks cool. As they come in, you see them appear. And then if people put the same word, it gets bigger.
Yeah,
So-
just make sure you always put the link in the chat, because
Yeah, well, now I know. Because I'm like, why can't you guys get it? Now I see, because you were on this website, which was not working. Okay, so this is awesome. How do I save it? I wonder. Flubber. I don't know if I can save it. You know what? I'm just going to take a screenshot of it because it's really cool. We're going to put that on the home page. Okay, so I'm going to lock this one now. But we have more coming up. So, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to review key vocabulary. This is just a really like chill virtual session, kind of check-in situation here. And then we're going to design a solution to a problem using our knowledge of science. So module 2 vocab, right? These are the main words that were going on in there. We had law of conservation of energy, potential energy, kinetic energy, conduction, convection, and radiation, right? And there was a few activities in there for you to do with these, but I just wanted to make sure we have the right definitions for these. So you guys tell me if you know, and if you don't, just say, I have no idea. And we will write definitions for these. So what is the law of conservation of energy? Do I hear note shuffling?
That's me.
I know.
What is it?
Cannot be created or destroyed.
Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Right? Now we might be thinking in our minds, well, wait a second, where does the energy come from that charges our computer? Where does the energy come from that turns on the phone? Right? All of that energy is just being transferred. So electricity, right? It's coming from a power plant where electricity is being harvested from somewhere, right? So it's not being created. It's just being transferred. And it's actually a really hard concept to understand sometimes when you really think about it. You're like, wait, where does this come from? All right, what about potential energy?
I know.
Okay, what is it?
It can be converted into other energies.
Yeah, so it's basically, you can break it down. It's basically stored energy, right? And the word potential actually means like could have energy. The best way to describe it is if I'm holding my phone up here above the ground, right? If I drop it, that's not going to be good because it's going to hit the floor It might break. But we're holding it up here. This is potential energy. There's potential for this phone to fall. Right? Same thing with a rubber band or like a ponytail. Right? If I'm pulling this back and aiming it at my sibling's face, right? There's potential for this thing to fly and hit them. It's not flying yet, but it could. Right? If I let go, boom, it's going to hit someone in the face. Well, I don't have good aim, so it probably wouldn't, but it would fly. So then if potential energy is stored energy, what is kinetic energy?
I know.
You know, Abby?
Yep.
Sounds like your notes are really organized over there.
They are.
I know the next one.
You know the next one? All right. Aubrey, you have conduction. All right. Kinetic, what is it?
Okay. Kinetic energy is motion and movement.
Yeah, that's moving energy. Oops. So that's the energy after potential, right? As the phone is falling, that's kinetic. As the rubber band is flying through the air and hitting someone, that's kinetic, right? So kinetic just means moving energy. So when you're moving around, you can say, I have kinetic energy. All right. Aubrey, what is conduction?
When two substances at different temperatures come in contact with each other, heat moves from the warmer substance to the other.
Great. So heat moves from warm substance to cooler substance when items touch. And that's like my condensed version of that. So what would be a good example of that one? Hendrik, calm yourself. Jeez. He has a lot of kinetic energy right now. All right. What would be a good example of conduction? Two things are touching each other. One's hotter than the other.
When your cold hand touches something really hot. Maybe.
Yeah. Right? Not too hot. Not like burning you. But yeah, if your hands are cold and you put them on like
A fireplace or
warm,
something.
yeah. Well, are you going to touch the fire though?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. That might be a different one. That might be an example for a different one. When is you do this every day or your parents do this every day, Aubrey?
Taking a shower.
Actually, sure. That could work, right? There's hot water hitting your body and then you start getting warm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually that kind of relates to what you were saying too, Abby. Like your hands are cold. If you put them in hot water, it's not going to burn you. Or if you put a hot towel on them.
Unless if you do cold water, then your
Yeah,
body
that's probably not fun. All right, taking a shower.
will be. Do that. It helps my hair grow. Like cold
Oh,
water.
really?
Yeah.
When you wash it in cold water?
Yeah.
I wonder if that would work for me. I like to do like go in a hot tub and then take a really cold shower.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that change feels nice. All right, so conduction is when things touch and they exchange heat. What about convection?
I know.
Okay, Abby's going to do convection. You want to do radiation, Aubrey?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. When heat moves through the air or a liquid.
Heat moves through air or liquid. Awesome. And honestly, there's a really good picture of this thing that helps me remember. Like sometimes I get confused between convection and conduction because they kind of sound the same, right? But I like to think of this picture for convection. I don't know why. I just like, when I think of convection, I think of arrows. And then it just makes sense to me. But all this hot air or liquid or whatever this is rising up to the top and pushing the cold air down, right? And making this nice circular motion. I just realized you guys can't see, I'm like pointing at the computer and you can't see that, right? It makes this nice circular motion. And you might have noticed too, if your feet get cold in the winter, right? Sometimes it's because all the hot air is up here by your face, right? And down below where your feet are, it's colder. So I kind of just gave you an example of this one, right? But a heater, usually heaters work like this, they release heat and it pushes the air in this nice circle, right? And I like to remember this one as moving circles and arrows. Don't know why, it just sticks in my head. Convection, arrows, going on. All right, radiation, what is it, Aubrey?
Radiation. I'm looking. Radiation.
If you don't have it, I'm always here.
Abby's ready. She's like,
Okay, Abby, you can go.
Okay.
I forgot.
well, make sure you're writing it down right now as we go over it.
Okay. When heat moves through electromagnetic waves, also known as light.
Yes. So this could be light. This could be radio waves. This could be microwaves. This could be infrared rays. All kinds of waves going on here that are considered radiation, right? So your microwave releases radiation when it's on. Light, right, which we're all sitting in right now, is releasing some radiation. It's also releasing heat. If you ever go near your light bulb, right, it's hot.
No,
So-
not really. Not really when I go next to a light bulb.
Really? Well, you probably
Yeah,
have
I
nice.
always have my lights off because it just seems
Oh.
peaceful.
Well, it looks like you have nice natural light though. See, that's good.
Yeah, because of the sun coming through my blinds.
Yeah, I don't have that. Kendrick, stop it. Stop.
All I'm using right now
Yeah,
is
I don't have good natural light, so I have to have lights on. All right, so before we go on to this design scenario, we got 2 poll questions, 2 more. Okay. Our second one is a scientific method question, kind of out of nowhere here, but I was just kind of playing around with this thing. So I'm going to send you guys the link in the chat. And I have to activate the poll. Okay, it's activated. So the link is now pollev.com/Amy. Oh, it's the same one. But now it should have this question. The scientific method is used mainly to, this is a hard one. And it looks like you're just going to write A, B, or C. Interesting. I am going to do this too, actually. I'm going to pick B. So the reason I asked this question is because they're all kind of right. The trick. I thought the best answer was B, support observations made by scientists, right? Just because if you're observing something going on in the world, you do an experiment to prove that it that it has meaning, right? But you also use the scientific method to do experiments. You also use the scientific method to make laws. So it's actually all of them. But look, we made a cool graph. Woo. All right, the next and final question.
That was weird. I didn't even choose anything. It just chose for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Like,
weird.
I hovered over it and then like
Okay, so the next one is heating up water on the stove is best described as conduction, convection, radiation, or cooking. All right, we got a convection and a radiation. So let's talk about it. If we're heating up water on a stove, let's get a visual of that. What does that look like?
Steam coming up.
Yeah, there's steam coming out of it, right? Like here's a good one. Here's a pot filled with water, right? We see bubbles, we see steam. What's going on here? What is that coily thing?
Heat.
It's heat, right? Is it touching the pot?
Yes.
Looks like it's touching it to me. So if we go back to our definitions, which one of these requires the substances to touch? Conduction, convection, radiation. Which one's requiring them to touch?
Conduction.
Conduction, right? So that means we should have picked A here.
I clicked radiation because I was thinking of the steam.
So you were thinking the releasing from the stove, right? There probably is a little bit of radiation released there. But in the terms of water being heated up on the stove, that one is a better description of conduction because the pot is touching the stove and the water is touching the pot.
Okay.
Okay? That's where these can get tricky because sometimes multiple of them are happening, right? Like a 7th grader asked me, what about a sauna? She was like, the walls in a sauna are hot, so you can touch them and that's conduction. But then the sauna itself is like a bunch of hot rocks that are releasing heat, right? So that's convection. And then she was like, but it could also be radiation. And I was like, yeah, it's all of them, right? They're all kind of happening at the same time. That's why it gets a little confusing. All right. So last thing we're going to do, oops, wrong thing, is we're going to think about this design scenario. And this is actually going to be the executable of what you guys are going to do. And so just a little background about Canvas. You guys probably already know that I personally hate Canvas. But now Canvas won't let me make new assignments. Every time I make a new assignment, like when I made the paper towel lab, it got deleted. And it kept getting deleted and I kept re-adding it. And then it was just like, they were like, well, you can't add new assignments. I was like, what?
Same with the slime lab. It deleted.
Exactly, right? So it sucks because I want to do those things, but I can't put them in Canvas. So we're just going to do emailing for this, which isn't as exciting. But I'm just going to keep track of all that stuff. And then at the end of the semester, I'm going to add points to your grade. So like if you participated in the slime lab and you participated in the paper towel lab and you participated in this, then you're going to get extra points added. And people who don't participate, well, they're not going to get it. So what we're going to be doing, I'm going to send you guys an email with this information because I'm not going to stay here while you're doing this. But basically, next Friday, we're going to have a bunch of materials around in the science lab. We're going to be building water heaters that can be heated up by the sun. And we're going to have a contest. So we're actually going to put all of our water heaters that we make outside, and we're going to see who gets the warmest. All right, so it's going to be a contest. I like competitions. So we're going to pretend the apocalypse has just happened, right? And you decided to profit from everyone's need and design a solar water heater. So you're going to use your knowledge of heat transfer and your creativity to design a solar water heater from items found inside your home, right? Think foil, cans, plastic wrap boxes. So kind of look around your house and think what items could be used here to build a solar water heater. Right?
A dog.
What items hold heat really well?
That's cruelty.
Right? So think about like metals are really good at conducting heat versus other items, right?
Matches are good.
Well, matches will light on fire, but do they hold heat? Will they capture heat from the sun? So you want to be able to capture that heat from the sun. right? And then what we're actually going to do, you guys are just thinking about this right now, kind of designing and getting your thoughts down. And then you might not have the same exact items. You're welcome to bring items if you want. But next Friday, we're going to have stuff in the lab and we're going to build solar water heaters. And you guys are getting a little heads up because the 7th and the 8th graders don't know about it yet. And they're not going to know about it until next Friday. So you're already getting this little head start of thinking, right, about how you can do this and you can research. Yes, Abby.
Could I just bring a solar panel because that captures light, sort of?
Sure, right? And in fact, some calculators and watches and other things have, what do you call it? They have like little solar things on them that you could use. Yeah, so look around and see. And then you're going to answer these kinds of questions. What kind of heat transfer does it use? And remember what we talked about, that it can be all three of them, right? You can have radiation, conduction, and convection happening at the same time. It doesn't have to just be one. Why would we use solar heat, right? So think about the environment, think about resources, right? If the apocalypse just happened, that might be our only option. And then how much would you charge to build one? Whoa, what are you doing over there, Abby? You're like raising, it says you're raising your hand. How are you doing that? It says raise hand, lower hand. What?
Yeah, Mr. Ling taught us.
That's cool. How do you do that?
Okay, so you go to participates, and on the bottom it says raise hand, and you click on that, and there's a hand right there.
Oh.
And then you can lower it when clicking lower hand.
When you're like, when it's been, when your
Answered.
question's been answered. Interesting. Okay. Well, do you have a question or you're just playing with it?
Oh no, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead. Thought you were just teaching me about it. I was like, ooh.
Oh, okay. So, when do we do this? Like, is this whole the designs and answer these questions? Are they the same thing or are they different?
So the design, I want you to draw and describe, really just label, right? So I might take my paper and I might draw that I have a box, right? Inside the box, I'm going to put a pan, right? I'm going to put foil everywhere. So I'm just basically like drawing and labeling what I would like it to look like based on items that I see, right? And you might also want to do a little research describing like foil holds heat really well.
Okay, and
Right?
also,
Or it doesn't, or whatever you find out.
when do we do this?
So this is going to be due by next Friday.
Okay, so
So you have a lot of time to do it.
Okay.
I thought it was due today.
No,
That was too much.
but, yeah, no, it's not going to be due today. So you can just kind of sit on it and think about it, and it's going to be due by next Friday so that when you come into the lab, you're ready to go with your ideas. So it doesn't need to be super detailed and crazy. You might only use 3 items, right? That's fine. Just explain it. I only think I need these 3 things. That's it. And then in terms of answering the questions, these are just kind of getting you thinking about this process, right? And the last one is kind of an opinion one too. Do you think heat is one of the most important things that people would need during an apocalypse, right? So thinking about like food and water and places to use the bathroom and things like that, is heat up there on people's list, right? You might say, yeah, because it's freezing, or you might be like, I don't know, food seems more important to me. So that's going to be up to you. So I'm going to send you an email right now through Canvas that's going to have this exact thing copied and pasted with what the scenario is, right? And then it's going to say due by next Friday. And then next Friday, hopefully you guys can come to the middle school lab and we're going to build these. Okay?
Okay.
Otherwise, we're done here. I'm going to close the chat. I'm going to stop my screen share here. And I'm going to end the meeting. I'm going to post the recording of this too for the few people who did not attend. And then other than that, enjoy your day off tomorrow. I will see you guys next Friday. right, where we're going to build these solar water heaters. And it's actually, they get pretty hot if you do a good job. Just throwing that out there. They can work.
Is there a prize?
Yeah, there could be a prize. What do you think is a good prize? Do people want like food?
$50.
Yeah, money.
That's a pretty intense prize. I was thinking like $10 or less for the prize.
Ah,
That's what I was thinking.
$1 Visa gift card.
Okay. We'll talk. You respond to my email and tell me what you think prizes should be. How's that? Okay. All right. So I'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.